to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. Senior Focus comes to you a couple times each month through the Armstrong Channel 20 and 100 community channel. So thanks to Greg Roten and all the folks at Armstrong, and also thanks to Keith Kaiser. He is nice enough to let us use the Davis Visitor Center at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Of course, that's at Fellows Riverside Gardens. And we want to certainly encourage you to come visit the gardens and the Davis Center. Today's show is going to be about the Valley Legacy Awards that were recently awarded by Shepherd of the Valley. The Valley Legacy Awards have been around for 5 or 6 years, but what they do is they honor community volunteers, folks, number one, who are seniors themselves and do volunteer work. And there's also an advocate award for someone who has helped seniors. And previously we had interviewed Charles Wilkins, Dr. Wilkins from St. E's, who is the advocate of the year. And today we have 3 extraordinary folks from the community. And to my left, or your right as you see, is Beverly Poidmore Pariza. And in the middle we have George Grimm. And on the far side is Carol Bigelow. Thanks to all for coming today. And I just wanted to start by reading a little bit of their biography. And this is basically what qualifies them for the Valley Legacy Award. Beverly is from Boardman, and she's a member of St. Elizabeth Hospital Auxiliary, the Stambaugh Pillars, Friends of Riverside Gardens here, Mahoning County Historical Society and Genealogical Society, YSU alumni, Hands-On Volunteer Network of the Valley, Korean War Veterans Chapter 137, and several quilting groups. In her spare time, and that doesn't sound like much, but she must have some spare time, she volunteers for Austin Woods in Austintown and the Rescue Mission. She makes baby blankets and knits and crochets lap robes, blankets, and scarves for wheelchair-bound veterans and soldiers overseas, and also for the Rescue Mission. And I think some of her work we'll be seeing here. George Grimm, in the middle, is also from Boardman. He's a Boy Scout, has served as a member and 3-time chairman for Whispering Pines District Advancement Committee, as unit commissioner for 5 troops in 3 churches and a VFW post, and he raised funds for Camp Stambaugh. He's a member of the Northeast Ohio Civil War Roundtable and the Boardman Kiwanis Club, for which he served as president and district lieutenant governor. He serves on the Boardman Community Foundation Board and Mahoning County 4-H Advisory Committee. And then finally, on our far right, as you look, Carol Bigelow of Youngstown joined the Women's Auxiliary of the Salvation Army in 1995, where she has served as president and treasurer. She organized fundraisers, served on its advisory board as secretary. She chaired the Kettle Committee and received its Others Award for service to others. She also volunteers for the Butler Institute of American Art, Fellows Riverside Gardens, and Hands-On Volunteer Network of the Valley. So there you go. That's the 3 folks that we have today, and believe me, we're very honored to have them all here. And I guess this will just sort of be a round table. It is a round table, so okay. Feel free to jump in but we could start maybe with Beverly. I was curious as to how you got started in volunteering, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
I started down in Georgia with American Heart. I worked for American Heart, then I also volunteered for it, and American Lung, and the Lioness Club for the Lions. Mm-hmm. And then when I come up here in '94, I did a little. But then I really got started about 10 years ago when my husband got real sick. Sam Poidmore, that's where the Poidmore name comes from. And I wanted to honor him because we were married 26 years. Oh. Now I'm married to a Korean War veteran, John Pariza, and we do a lot of veterans things. And this is one of them. Ladies donate 40 lap robes for vets over at 301 for the veterans. And then our lap robes, which that's a sample of it's for wheelchair veterans. And we take them to nursing homes and up to Wade Park, Pittsburgh, Butler, Calcutta, and all of that. And then this is a lap robe for quilted for Sister Kathleen Minchin's AIDS group at the Ursuline Mother House.
Okay.
And hospice of the Valley. We make, I have belonged to a group, the quilt club I belong to. That's the name of it. Anyway, then this, Pat Catan's had a program that they would give you the yarn if you would knit a scarf for over, to give to the soldiers over in Iraq and Afghanistan, but they don't have it anymore, so I'm going to find out how to get some over there. Now, this item is a scarf for Reach to Recovery for the American Cancer Society, and little bags for note paper and things like that after, for recovery of breast cancer. And this, oh dear, this is one of the baby blankets for St. E's Hospital.
Okay.
And I've done, I don't know, three, maybe up to 300 in the last 10 years. And then I put them in Canfield Fair once in a while, and I got a first ribbon, so, so this has got to go to somebody special. So, and
well, let me find out with George, again, how you maybe started in volunteering, and have you been doing this for, I imagine, almost, several decades?
Almost my entire life.
Your entire life, I was going to say your entire life, yeah.
When I was 12 years old, I joined the Boy Scouts, and of course, one of the things that a Boy Scout does is do a good turn daily. I took that pretty seriously. And I also, while I was in the Boy Scouts, had some merit badge counselors that I really admired and worshiped, and they were giving people. And since I had grown up kind of poor out on a farm in Pennsylvania, we didn't have much. My dad lost his job in 1932, and that's when I was born. I always appreciated things, and I would rather give than receive. And then, of course, when I joined Kiwanis in 1988 and worked with them in the community, we do things for kids. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to serving the children of the world, one child, one community at a time. So I took that seriously. And then my wife died 13 years ago, and after she died, I really retired from working and devoted myself pretty much entirely to community activity, volunteer work, and people keep rewarding, giving me awards for it, but I don't really deserve it. I just do what I'm supposed to do, what I think the Lord wants me to do.
Well, thank you. And again, we'll talk more about some of your specific work that you're doing. Carol, maybe talk about how you got started originally.
I started volunteering when I was 10 years old. I grew up in Columbus, and my mother did work at a Methodist settlement house in the slums of Columbus. So I started when I was 10, going with my mother and helping with crafts and gifts, or crafts and games with the children. And then my father belonged to the Charity Newsies, and you had to be a newspaper boy. And they were 100% for charity. They collected clothing and food, and I started helping him deliver those things. Then when I went to college, I did work with the blind. I graduated from Denison, and I took the bus from Granville to Newark to read to a blind man every 2 weeks or to take him shopping. And after I graduated, I was back in Columbus, and I had a friend that had polio, and I ended up volunteering for a year at Children's Hospital and visiting her because my grandparents lived down the street and they had polio victims, many of them that were Amish people.
Okay.
And my whole life has been volunteering. I volunteered when I was in Columbus, and when I lived in Cleveland. I moved to Youngstown. One of the things I did was Dan Ryan was on his talk show. There was a blind lady who lived in a nursing home, And when Howard Ailey wrote the book, The History of Mahoning County, she wanted the book. So I got my Delta Gamma sorority alumni, because our project was Aid to the Blind, and we tape recorded the entire book for Rose, gave her the tapes, and gave her the tape recorders, and to other blind people. And then I was in retailing for 21 years, and when I retired in 1995, I joined Salvation Army. And I've been on the board and rung the bells and helped with the Thanksgiving dinners. I volunteered for 10 years at Butler Art in the gift shop. I volunteered here at Fellows Gardens. I did have some health issues a year ago, so I gave that up. But I'm still very active with Salvation Army, and I'm a lead volunteer for hands-on volunteering of the Valley. So my whole life, and I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm not a spring chicken.
Well, that's a good point, though, that, you know, you could start volunteering at any time. Again, some folks, like Carol, have done this since they were youth, and I think a lot of people probably have. If you think back to it, maybe folks that are out there watching say, well, you know, I just am not that kind of person, but I bet you a lot of folks have done something over their lifetime that maybe wasn't through a formal process, but they went to visit a friend at the hospital, or they maybe helped in knitting something for either a member of the family or a neighbor who was in need.